Do you feel that it's important to pass this recipe on?
Oh, I'm gonna teach you today.
All right.
This is a half, so you want 2 of these, because that big one doesn't fit.
My first question to you for this project is, who taught you this recipe and how did you come to learn it?
My Grandma Duke was a really good cook and a good baker, and she loved to make sweets for all of us, and she liked to teach us how to do things. And my mom's parents and my dad's parents were within just a few miles of us, so we could easily go. And she made almost everything. They didn't have much money, so she made butter. She milked the cows and got the milk for their kids. She had chickens and eggs. They raised their beef. She grew almost all their vegetables.
Nice.
But she also had 5 children and 12 grandchildren. So when we all came to her house, sometimes there would be 50 or 60 people of us. So she'd have to make a lot of it.
What are the kind of nuts that you use to make
Pecans.
them? Pecans? Have you ever tried to use any other kind of nuts for them?
She used black walnuts a lot because that's what they had in their yard.
Black
In
walnuts.
their woods.
Okay.
She would crack them open herself and chop them up herself. But
Really?
I never liked black walnuts. They have they have a much stronger flavor than pecans. Later in life, when she could buy nuts, she would use the pecans because most people like those better. Thanksgiving, and so there were only these more expensive eggs, which they usually are pretty good.
Maybe you need to get a chicken. Just go out in the backyard.
I hate chicken. I got flogged by a chicken. You probably heard that story.
I think you did tell me about that.
I got flogged by a rooster at my mom's, and he jumped off a fence and jumped onto my shoulders and started pecking me and flapping his wings. I was 5 years old.
I had nightmares about it for years.
I've chickens ever since then, because those chickens can be fierce. This was a banty rooster, and they can be very mean. Well, he got his due. Okay, this one's gonna work better.
There we go. Look at there.
Get the white out, so we'll have it to brush on the batter. And put the yolk in there.
Perfect. Have the tools and ingredients you use for the recipe changed over time?
My grandma never had a nice mixer. She had a hand mixer from the time I remember. A little hand mixer that just had the 2 pieces that spun. But now I have this big fancy KitchenAid mixer that sits on the counter that does all the work. I don't have to hold it and stir it and do as much trouble as she did.
What do you think makes the texture, flavor, and shape of the cookie unique?
Well, the cinnamon is its kind of signature flavor. It doesn't have much ingredients. It's a really low ingredient cookie. The cinnamon is the zip.
Do you remember the first time you ever baked this recipe?
I remember making it with her, and that she had to scold me that I wasn't using my hands right and getting it patted flat.
Okay.
And then if I didn't get it patted flat, it wouldn't make the whole pan of cookies, and they would cook unevenly. So it really takes a lot of pushing the dough around to get it to cover the whole pan. And she was firm that we had to do that. We couldn't do any shortcuts.
In great position to land that big elbow from the top rope. Right there, check CM Punk out. He's about to get caught in the
What elbow! What elevation by Punk! Here's the cover! Under the leg, Ziggler kicks out again!
Usually just start dumping some and spreading it on one side. Of course, I'm sure she didn't have one of these fancy brushers that I have.
So I am curious, has the recipe changed at all or stayed the same?
Well, I probably add more nuts than she does because she didn't have much money. So, and nuts are expensive. So I probably put more nuts in there than she did.
Okay.
But sometimes I just use what I have. Sometimes I don't have as much nuts, and sometimes I have more nuts. So, but I probably am more generous with the nuts than her, but I still use her recipe.
What role did they play in your life growing up?
Well, I learned from my grandmother a lot of things, but one thing I admired about her and that I went with her sometimes was she always was aware of people that were lonely or in need or in bad health. And we would have to go take trips to take cookies to the people in the nursing home. Mm-hmm. And so I still do that today. I take cookies to people in the nursing home because I learned what a kind gesture that is and how a little food makes for good relationships between people and goodwill. So she taught me not just how to make the cookies, but what cookies can do to bring families together, mm-hmm. to have a celebration, and to go help out your neighbors. She was really good at all that.